That was an explosive day that we saw yesterday. Where could we go from here? We're going to check it out in this video with the indices, the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, and the Russell 2000 through the ETFs that track them. And then also coming up on this channel in the near future is my NVDA stock price prediction and earnings projection. I want to have it ready before this weekend so you guys can check that, see if we get some sort of run up to NVIDIA. We'll also take a look at the charts for that. I got updated technicals for Tesla for you and some important information on Bitcoin. And by the way, if you guys want to unlock the secrets to Thanksgiving and thankfulness, you can unlock them by using your turkey. All right. So I know some of you guys are missing the dad jokes. There's a quick one for you. We're going to get into the charts. If you guys want to see the technicals before they hit YouTube, see what I'm buying, talk to me and my community members. There's a link down in the description for the Patreon. I'll tell you more about that later. And also how you can do this technical analysis yourself and get access to a wonderful trading strategy called the bread recipe. And that link is also down in the description, along with a discount code for that. We'll talk more about it later. In the meantime, let's get right into the technicals on this. So this is the S&P 500 tracked by SPY. So we're looking at the ETF version of it. Still up in the pre-market after yesterday's jump that we saw. We closed the day before that at 576 and then jumped up all the way yesterday to a close of 591. Incredible move, 2.5% up, which is a very rare occurrence to see in the markets, to see that sort of move up or down. So a wonderful move to the upside on that one. Similar thing, 2.72% for QQQ. We'll talk about the NASDAQ 100 in just a moment. But for right now, we do have volume confirmation. We are looking bullish as per the RSI that we see on here. And if I put the technicals up on screen, I left the rising wedge pattern. We broke down through it, retested it, got the drop, got to the 50. I said we could have explosive movement off of this. And then we did. So absolutely awesome to see that move upward as the pressure of the election comes off. And so watch for 600 to come out of this over the next several days, because we might retest some support. We might have some retracement. We'll see. But 600, you can see we actually have an important line at 599.31. 600 is going to be an important line in the sand, especially for the day traders out there that see us hit that 599.31 or even 600. Most likely we're going to get a bit of a soft retracement coming off of that one. Could make for a really nice scalp on that one. Not financial advice, just some ideas to put out there, some of my own thoughts for what I'd be looking for in the event that I'm able to day trade during that time. So moving from SPY over to QQQ, and got good volume on both of them yesterday. Not the most explosive we've seen, but still pretty darn good, enabling this further rise that we see today, moving up from 505.58 for yesterday's close up to 507. So that's a move of close to 0.5% so far in the pre-market hours. We'll see if it holds out. The technicals on this, we actually have up at about 510.76, pretty significant resistance up there. Look at the way we got back into that rising wedge. This is exactly why I leave these lines on here, even after it already plays out. And if you're wondering why we didn't touch the moving average down here, this 50 period that I have on here for you, if I put the EMAs up, you can see we did absolutely retest that 50 EMA, and then that rocket ship took place. And we could see some further upside. I think 510 was likely to come out of this in the near future. Maybe we see it today. Maybe we see it after that. 513.90 is also significant. And then we also have 516. So anywhere from 510 to 516 is all that resistance area to the upside from where we're at right now, which could be pretty significant. The month of November, if we don't hear anything from Jerome Powell that really smacks us back down, if those reports come out that are still saying that inflation is softening, labor market's still tight, those are things that can confirm Goldilocks scenario. We certainly don't want another repeat of what we saw in non-farm payrolls when the November numbers come out in December is how I should phrase that one. So we want to be watchful for that to keep the punch going at the party. Maybe we have a strong finish to all of 2024. And all the while, we're going to have to look and see what 2025 is telling us. So some of this could be that Trump won presidency, thinking that it's good for the stock market that we have here. Moving on, it could also just be the pressure of the election coming off. Honestly, I think it's a combination of both of them. And we can see some of that movement, especially if there's a cut in taxes for those companies out there. That means even more profits for them, making the numbers that we see in the markets more reasonable than they would be without corporate tax cuts coming in the future, potentially, of course. Moving over to IWM, look at that jump that we saw. Look at that volume. This is probably the most explosive, relatively speaking, to what we saw from SPY, QQQ, so the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, and now finally the Russell 2000 stocks. I think that we're on our way to new all-time highs. I thought that we would see more softening. So far, we didn't get it. And if we look back, I think we actually got a push back down to retest these previous highs here. I don't know if we actually come back down and settle on those again. We could honestly have a fairly somewhat straight shot, at least as straight as the market's going to go, back up to that all-time high. And if I put the technicals on here, you can see that previous all-time high, 244.46 is that previous all-time high during regular trading hours. And so where does that put us over here? Well, we have a whole lot of nothing besides that all-time high. We are up way above the bullish channel. And this is a place that we could likely dance around for a while. To the upside, 250 is about where resistance starts to come in. So we could see us hit that new all-time high, retrace a little bit, and then on to perhaps that 250, retrace a little bit for that round number resist. Pardon me. Also, the technicals seem to sort of confirm that as well. We have all sorts of resistance up there. So we could see some choppiness above the all-time high if we get there. And honestly, I think that we could see that coming in this most recent run with a little bit of retracement along the way. But I think that we're on that path that before the end of the year that we see new all-time highs with IWM tracking the Russell 2000 stocks. Man, I got a dry spot in my throat. One more shot of coffee here. Delicious. All right, so let's get into the big three at the end here. NVIDIA, Tesla, Bitcoin. So for NVIDIA, not a lot to share with technicals right now, but I will be refreshing that this weekend along with my NVIDIA stock price prediction and earnings projection. If you guys want to see those technicals before they hit YouTube, that link down in the description for the Patreon is going to get you there. Sign up for the Patreon, head on over to the Discord. That's where my technicals are. That's where my buys are. And also you can check out me, my community members. You can talk with us as well. And then also, if you guys want to perform these technicals yourself, so you don't have to wait for me, or you have other companies that I don't necessarily track, if you want to learn to trade using the bread recipe, which is a top-notch trading strategy that I use myself, I got it from Stockmo. Stockmo is a personal friend of mine. He and I kicked around some ideas, and he had a spark of intuition and a spark of ingenuity, if you will, put together this bread recipe trading strategy. Simple to put up, simple to follow. You can get access to it through the Stockmo Academy link down in the description. Click that, sign up, use the code word DOCTOR, D-O-C-T-O-R. When you sign up, that's going to give you a massive discount on that course. Many people through their testimonials are saying that in just as little as one trade, they've been paying for that course, and you can make it even easier using that discount code that I've given you. You get the bread recipe, you get told exactly how to set it up, exactly what to look for, all the other technicals in there, small, easy to digest pieces. You also have other experts in there talking about their experiences and giving their own personal advice, not necessarily financial advice. That's a different thing that doesn't fit within that course, as it's an educational course, not one to give financial advice. So as you go in there, you check it out, have a look around, learn all about the technicals, learn all about how to set them up, what to look for in the markets, how to signal what's going to move up, what's going to move down, learn how to trade it using the bread recipe. You can do all that through the link in the description for the Stockmo Academy. And remember, like I said, code word DOCTOR when you sign up. Let's get back into the technicals on this. So for NVIDIA, new all-time high yesterday, awesome. Today, could possibly break it. We don't see the explosive volume from NVIDIA. It was decent yesterday, but it wasn't incredible. And honestly, I think it's because we have earnings coming up. So stock already way up. It didn't really come back down too much. I mean, I guess we did pull back to 133, not so bad. But we were already near that 140 mark. And I'll tell you what, that's kind of rich until we hear those earnings. And that's the problem with NVIDIA right now, is that we don't know just how rich that is. With the earnings coming up, that is a risk. That is a specific catalyst that can move us in either direction. And I'll give a full commentary on that when I put out my NVIDIA stock price prediction and earnings projection. So subscribe to the channel to make sure that you see when that video comes out. My goal is to have that ready for you before this weekend, but by this weekend. If I need to make a special video this weekend, I will, just to put that out there for all of you to take a look at the numbers that I've projected for their earnings, about the stock price prediction, which currently sits at 152. I forget that top number. Maybe it was 167 within the next 12 to 18 months. And now 3 months later, that makes it 9 to 15 months from where we're at. And man, we're darn close to that 150 right now. So watch for some soft rejection to come off of 150 on NVIDIA. Like I said, I'll give that full breakdown in that upcoming video. Over to Tesla. Nice volume yesterday from Tesla. And we've seen that relationship blossom between Tesla and Trump. And I said that if Trump wins the presidency, that could be very good for Tesla. I think that some of the fossil fuel rhetoric that we hear, some of the push for fossil fuels that we have from Trump, I think that Elon did right by the company to align himself with with Trump in this way that could really help out the stock price, really help out Tesla as a company to hang around in the EV space, and then also with the other things that he has going on with the SpaceX, Neuralink, you name it. I think that this could be a very good thing for the stock price. Moving forward from here, I think 300 is on the table for this. I put out these technicals, by the way, over at the Discord, available through the Patreon, so make sure you check that out. We actually came back yesterday. Look at this. We opened yesterday at 284.67, so almost 285. We pulled all the way down below my support line down here at 277, had a little bit of a peekaboo, and then when we found out that support really did hold there, we ripped back up, and then we closed the day yesterday at almost 289. Pre-market hours this morning, a little bit of softening. Most likely we're going to have some of that. We want to stay up above 277. That's going to be critical for us to see that push up. If we do, check out these numbers. 300 is going to have a psychological resist, most likely. We have to get through 294. That is a big resistance area that we have that starts at 294. If we're unable to get through that, well, then that smashes our near-term dreams of $300 price tag. But with that volume that we got, we could see a little bit of that softness coming in just because it's such a huge move yesterday, almost 15% up from where we closed at the day before to where we closed at yesterday. And so if we see a little bit of softness today, a little bit of a give back, fine. We definitely want to stay up above 286. If we don't hold that, we want to stay up above 277. Breaking down below 277 is where we get into trouble trying to get that rally going to 300. But I think now's the time that we could absolutely see that $300 price tag. It got robbed from us going all the way back to July of last year, 299.29. So that was, we got robbed a little over a year ago of that $300 price tag. We've seen it before, but man, it's been a long time. We want to get back there. And honestly, I think that this is the run where we could do it. I think that it happens before the end of 2024 that we start to see some of these $300 price tags come out and play with us. Now, mind you, 307.84 is a 50% Fibonacci from like the history of Tesla stock. So that retracement level, should we end up hitting that 307.84, watch for a significant rejection to come off of that one. Getting up above it is highly bullish, by the way. So keep that in mind. So let's wrap things up here with Bitcoin. Explosive volume that we had yesterday, today kind of retracing a little bit. And let me get rid of VWAP. I'm not really sure why that's on there on the daily chart. That's an intraday measure. So what we have, explosive volume yesterday, giving back a little today. And if we go out to the monthly chart, there we go. We can actually see a little bit better where we can pull back to. We can actually pull back to, well, staying up above 70,000, honestly around 73,000 plus. Maybe the weekly chart is a little bit better for this one. There we go. To really see where that selling pressure came in before across these previous tops. So it'd be nice to stay above this previous peak that we had. We even got near it a time before. And then if you look at these other peaks that we have that are right around 72,000. So staying north of 72,000 going to be a good thing for us. Now, if I put the technicals on here that I have for you, there we go. Let's actually go down to the daily chart so we can clean it up a little bit more, a little bit less chunky of a graph here. There we are. That's a good view. So staying up above the 73,722, or there's the big one. I said around 72,000, 71,853. Those are going to be critical for us. This would be nicer to stay up above this one. I think that we'd sooner go back up above these values up to the north. I think 84.5 is in the cards between now and the end of the year. Maybe if this run keeps on going from where we're right now, that volume yesterday could set up that move. We could be on that path that starts to show us that 80K mark. So now, mind you, up above that, there's the 80K mark up there, which actually is a pretty critical resistance for us. The big one is that 84.5 that we want to watch out for. I said getting up above 69,711 was important. Man, we exploded up above that as soon as the pressure of the election came off. And now we want to watch and see where we retrace to. Staying up above 73.7, good. Staying up above 72,000, I mean, definitely good to stay up above that. We don't want to retrace too much on this because that could send us back down and make it harder to recover from. But a little bit of retracement could be expected after having such a big day yesterday. Yesterday up about 9% from the previous close for Bitcoin. So keep an eye out on the charts. Keep on coming back to this channel. Make sure that you've hit the subscribe button. If you want to see the technicals, like I said, before they've hit YouTube, they show up at my Discord first. That's more of a real-time take from when I do the technicals and do the analysis for the stocks that I track. I dump those onto the technicals on Watch channel in that Discord. That's available through the Patreon. Links down in the description. And then also technical analysis. If you want to do it yourself, if you want to learn about how to set things up, what to look for, what the important things are that can make it really easy to tell, to have a better idea of which way the market's going to move or individual stocks are going to move. You can do so through the link for Stockmo Academy. And if you guys want to learn to trade using the upward movements, downward movements that we have based on the momentum of the stock and a few other indicators that are out there, the bread recipe, I gotta say, it is so clean, easy, simple to use, and just time and time and again proves itself as being able to be a net positive for your portfolio. That link is down in the description for Stockmo Academy. Click sign up and use the code word doctor when you do. Make sure it's DOCTOR. That's going to give you a massive discount. And I think that you're really going to enjoy your time over there. There's also a learning community that goes along with it. So if you see something you're uncertain of, or there's just a nuanced question you want to ask, there's a place that you can do that that's connected to that course as well. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I am Dr. Stock, Doctor of Education. Remember, my friends, that learning is earning. We'll see you next video.